Episode 1, News from a Past Life. This story mentions real people and past events. However, the plot is completely fictional and does not claim to be historically accurate.
My footfalls are inexplicably silent in this dark and empty passage, but his heavy steps echo loudly. With a stone wall ahead, I have nowhere else to run. He's so close that I feel his icy breath on my neck. I turn sharply. Long, twisted nails reach for the sparkling sky-blue diamond on my neck.
Give it back. Give it.
His whisper envelops me, seeping into my skin. You'll never get it. Never. I try to shield myself with a hand. His sharp nails sink into it. And suddenly I wake up. My hand still burned painfully. I finally found the switch and saw 3 uneven, bleeding scratches in the dim lamplight. Claws.
Romania. Bucharest. The Vampire's Den Hotel.
Hoping to clear my mind, I made my way to the bathroom with uncertain steps. The blood had gotten on my clothes. I undressed and turned on the shower. Hot water streamed down my body, both warming me up and soothing my nerves. I wrapped a towel around me and opened the bathroom door. Now I should put a bandage on this. A tall, dark figure in a hood stood right before me, and I certainly wasn't dreaming anymore. What should I do? An icy wave of terror rushed over me. The stranger took a step away and threw back his hood. Rays from the rising sun illuminated him from head to toe.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Please, don't be afraid. I'm Leo.
He smiled broadly and brushed a wavy lock of ginger hair from his face.
I'm staying in the next room and my cat's gone missing.
What are you doing here? What does a cat have to do with this? I took a breath, glanced at my scratched hand, and the realization hit me. Your cat, you say? I looked at him sharply and saw that he wasn't looking at my face, but lower. Leo was staring at my chest. Hey? That's when I felt the towel beginning to slip, no longer clinging to my body. Leo's hand suddenly darted forward and caught the towel, pressing it against me. His warm touch raised a wave of goosebumps all over my skin.
Got it.
He adjusted the towel, securing it behind my back before I'd even realized what he was doing. Unexpectedly finding myself wrapped in his strong arms, I felt my cheeks burning. Leo, on the other hand, seemed perfectly unfazed, as though he were helping a younger sibling get dressed. A little sting of frustration prickled within me.
There you go. Now, let's look for Nosferatu.
Look for what?
My cat, Nosferatu. He must have gotten over here from the balcony. I thought this room was empty, so I climbed over to get him.
Leo's gaze landed on a bouquet on the bedside table.
Lilies? Who keeps lilies in their room? He's allergic to them. They make him itch terribly.
Oh, I'm sorry I didn't properly prepare for your visit. What about me? You should have kept a closer eye on your pet. I waved my wounded hand in front of Leo's face.
Oh, he got you good. That'll be the lilies, they drive him mad. All right, let's get you patched up. Do you have a first aid kit?
Over there, in my bag. Leo sat me down on my bed and started treating my wound with iodine carefully, tenderly, even. Something about this made me suddenly feel very embarrassed, and I quickly pulled my hand away.
Good. Now we need to find the cat. Can you help me?
I think I'll help you. I'd like to see this nightmare for myself, and I think I heard rustling over there in the corner. Leo and I squatted and stared into the shadows beneath the table.
Nosferatu, kiti kitu!
We bumped into each other in the cramped space between the furniture. I overbalanced and grabbed for Leo's shoulder, and he caught me by my waist. Finding myself in his arms, I immediately thought of him tending to my hand and wrapping me in a towel as a sibling might. And again, I felt awkward and disappointed. I wanted to crack a joke and laugh it off. But when I looked up at Leo, the words vanished. There wasn't anything brotherly about his expression. A volatile mix of curiosity and something predatory lurked in Leo's green eyes. His keen gaze slid over my face and body with an almost palpable intensity. A wave of heat stirred within me. Our faces were too close, dangerously close, and, as if enchanted, I stared at his lips. Leo's fingers glided down my cheek and slowly drew a lock of my hair aside. Then his firm hand came to rest on my neck and pulled me to him.
Your relationship with Leo improved.
Something jumped from under the table and darted around the room. Leo reached out and immediately caught the cat in a gentle hug. An angry, bald face glowered at me.
Are you afraid of the scary lady, kitty? Don't be, it's... Oh, by the way, what's your name?
I'm scary? The door to the second bedroom door squeaked, and my sister, who I'd completely forgotten about, emerged.
Leo,
Do you know each other?
this is Kathy's brother. She's my classmate. Leia, what happened to your hand? And why are you naked?
I'm not naked? Suddenly I realized that I still was wearing nothing but a towel.
For real, go get dressed or you'll catch a cold.
There we go with the caring brother mode again. But I really should get dressed. As an apology, Leo ordered room service, and soon the three of us were having breakfast on the balcony. Millie was laughing about our morning adventure. Nosferatu jumped up on her lap, curled up and purred.
I didn't know you had such a wonderful kitty.
Yeah, he's great. But he's been struggling for the past 6 months. An animal behavioralist told me that it's from losing touch with his roots. He needs to spend some time around family. But every other cat in his line lives in Romania, so we came here. Nosferatu is the descendant of an ancient bloodline with ties to royalty, and we're going to pay them a visit.
Is the family name Dracula by any chance?
No, why?
Because your cat is so noble. I figured if it's a noble family, it must be very old and regal. And I don't know any other noble Romanian names.
Leo will remember that you liked his cat.
What brought you to Romania?
Oh, it's all Millie's doing. She's been dreaming of visiting Dracula's homeland for a year now. She loves vampire stories, books, movies, and that one game.
Moonborn.
Ah, so you're going to visit Bran Castle's Dracula's place?
Nah, that's a tourist trap. The real Vlad Dracula didn't even live there. I studied his biography and found something way more interesting than fairy tales. Young Vlad was a prince of Wallachia, brave and kind, beloved by all.
Wallachia, a medieval principality located in the territory of modern Romania.
But when he was 16, he was taken to the Ottoman Sultan's court as a hostage for 4 long years. Something happened to him there, something dark. So, in 1448, Vlad returned home as a completely different person, grim, aloof, morose. People would go on to say that it was just the shell of the old prince, and something entirely different had taken up residence inside. Millie turned to Leo and proudly said,
Laia always digs up something exciting.
I love old stories. I'm a fine art restorer after all.
Such an interesting line of work.
It sure is, but it's a shame that it takes up most of her time. I don't understand. Why can't the old stuff wait while you spend some time with your sister?
I promise I'm all yours for the next 2 weeks. You'll get tired of me. Anyway, today, we're going to the Cold Forest, the real burial site of Vlad Dracula. I hope to find some answers there.
How do you know where it is?
I did some digging. Out of the blue, I felt a tickling touch on my hand beneath the table. Leo, who was sitting next to me, smiled coyly, one corner of his mouth subtly curved up. His hand rested atop mine, almost covering it. He's flirting with me. It's nice. I like the way he acts. My hand in his. It was exciting and calming at the same time. I felt protected. We met just a few hours ago, but it's like we've known each other for a long time. I relaxed my hand, and Leo's strong fingers intertwined with mine. Our fingers laced together, and he squeezed my palm. Our little secret touch was so sweet and thrilling.
Leo liked you reaction.
Don't even think about going to the Cold Forest alone. I'll have a rental car, and my day is wide open. At least you'll have someone to save you if it turns out that the vampires fancy a bit of fresh blood.
Yay. I call shotgun.
My phone rang loudly, and I looked down to see my boss's name on the screen. I picked up and heard a familiar, high-pitched voice on the verge of hysterics.
Ma belle amie, Laya, I beg you, you must fetch them right now.
But, Vincent, I'm in Romania. What happened?
Quelle chance! The paintings are in Romania. These wonderful canvases have been defaced with filthy construction paint, but we'll save them. You'll save these chefs-d'oeuvre.
Sorry, but I'm not going to save any masterpieces. I'm on vacation.
15th century, from the Ottoman Sultan's court. And these are paintings of people.
But Turkey had a religious ban on depicting people during that period.
That's right, the year 1448. These are unique pieces, but those bandits from the Bloom Gallery want to intercept them.
1448. Ottomans? Text me the address, Vincent. I'm on my way.
What? No. Laya, you promised.
Millie, these paintings are from the same place and time when Prince Vlad was turned into a monster. I'd been waiting for a taxi for about 15 minutes, but still, there was nothing. Millie's really upset, but I can't let this opportunity pass me by. I'm glad Leo agreed to take her to the Cold Forest without me. I hope they have fun on their walk. Time was running out, and I began to worry that the guys from Blum Gallery would beat me there. Finally, a car pulled over, and I heard the driver's voice through the window.
Miss Alexandra, where are you headed?
A woman stepped out of a shop across the street, making a line for the car. The taxi must have come to pick her up. It's her taxi, and I am waiting for mine to arrive. Sure, I'm in a hurry, but she may be too. The woman approached the car, sat in the back seat, and looked at me closely.
Where do you need to go?
It's far from here. Brashov.
Well, you're a lucky lady. Get in, we're going the same way.
Alexandra's phone kept ringing throughout the trip, and she kept explaining something in Romanian to the person on the other end. After we left the city, the scenery became a bit dull, so I turned to studying my fellow traveler. What a peculiar woman, strength and tenderness combined. She looks tough and athletic, yet her lips are so full and soft. Suddenly, Alexandra caught my gaze and winked at me while listening to her phone. We stopped at a little village, and Alexandra stepped out.
He'll take you where you're headed, but I've got to go. Good luck, miss.
She winked at me again. such a grim place, so quiet. And there's no one here. The museum was beautiful, yet it was also old and somewhat neglected. The doors creaked pitifully. Plaster was falling off the walls, and soot-blackened cobwebs clung to the corners. Suddenly, a squeaky voice spoke up behind me.
Well, 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 who do we have here? Did Mr. Blum send you?
I turned to see a sallow old man with a wizened, wart-covered face. I felt an involuntary shudder of fear and disgust, but tried my best to hide it. I'm here on Mr. Vincent's behalf. My name is Laia Burnell.
Very well, I warned both of them. The first one to make it here gets the paintings. You see, we're in a hurry to sell them. That's why they're being sold at such a ridiculous price, despite their rarity.
The old man fetched a tube with 3 rolled-up paintings and spread one of them out on an easel. I touched the white layer covering the canvas. It was very pliable. I was told the paintings were covered in toxic construction paint, but this is just lime.
Alas, it's only this one. Restoring the other 2 paintings will be a true ordeal.
He left to get the papers for the deal, and I took a seat in a run-down chair in front of the easel. Curiosity got the best of me. I took a cloth and started wiping the lime away, carefully. Soon, a face revealed itself on the canvas, a handsome young man with burning gray eyes. The portrait seemed to hypnotize me. I couldn't take my eyes off of it. A dull pain rang through my skull. It was hard to breathe, and I realized I was losing consciousness.
Still struggling to breathe, I felt something squeeze my body right above my waist.
Come on, Lael. Girl, breathe in. We've got one last button to fasten.
My dear Shahi Hatun, I can't take this anymore. I think I've outgrown these clothes.
1444, Ottoman Empire, Sultan's Palace in Edirne.
Your bosom has grown fuller, that's for sure.
A very inconvenient thing, this bosom.
Look, my dear, you're 14 already. You can't keep running around with your friend Aslan like some wild things.
Hatun, an honorific similar to lady, used to address women in the Ottoman Empire.
You're not a child anymore, and Aslan's a young man now. Do you even know what boys his age think about?
If boys are so dangerous, how come we go to the same school?
Finally, all the buttons were fastened, and Lael swirled around the room happily.
I'd never allow it. Your teacher came up with the strangest thing. I wonder if he saw such a school on one of his journeys. It's never happened before. The thought of it, girls and boys and princes and captives studying in the same class.
Sultan Murad ordered it, and Shehzada Hassan likes studying with us.
Shehzade, a term for the Sultan's son, the Crown Prince.
Of course, your uncle, the Sultan, knows best. Speaking of Shehzad Hassan, I've noticed that he's more friendly with you than a cousin should be.
Oh, you see threats to my honor everywhere you look. Hassan is cordial towards everyone, not just me.
Suddenly, her mentor's voice softened.
A maiden's honor should be protected, but not for too long. There's a time for everything. What you should do is choose the one who gets it wisely. For example, Hassan.
I can't believe I'm hearing something like this from you.
Listen to an old woman. People say that Sultan Murad wishes to abdicate his throne, that his power has become a burden to him. Hassan will be the Sultan, and you could become his wife. He is much better than that captive orphan Aslan.
Lael flushed, clenched her fists, and stamped her foot.
Aslan may be a captive, but he's a king's son, and I'm an orphan too. And Hassan has many wives to choose from. He has a harem of them. I should go, Shahi Hatun. I can't be late today.
Lael decided to take the fastest route to the stables, through the garden. As she approached the blooming oleander, she heard quiet voices.
I wonder who's there. I'll hurry to the lesson. My curiosity has gotten me into trouble so many times. If I'm late to the stables, I'll have to make do with whichever horse is left over.
Lael picked up her pace.
As you know, today's riding class won't be on the school field, but on the big racing track.
Waha, an honorary form of address for a teacher or master.
We'll go there on a narrow path through the forest, so please pair up and stay close. Lale Hatun, you're on time. Go pick a horse, just be quick.
Lael chose the most beautiful mare in the stable, Yeezy, and began to put on her saddle. Her best friend's distinctive ginger hair caught her eye.
Aslan, you're late. Only Berdush is left. He's so homely.
Ha! It doesn't matter when the school's most handsome and brilliant student is the rider.
Humble as always. Go get him saddled already.
Aslan left. Soon, handsome young man with gray eyes rode up to Lele and courteously bowed to her.
Shehzada Hassan, my respects.
Good morning, cousin. I see you haven't found a partner yet. I hope you wouldn't refuse my company.
Certainly. It would be an honor.
Aslan, returning with a new strap, watched in astonishment as his friend left with the crown prince. Hassan and Lyle were the first ones to ride out, so they arrived before the other students. They decided to wait for the others in the shade of the forest beside the track. Hassan's favor-he hound bounded around happily, ducking beneath the horses and provoking indignant snorts. Then the dog approached Lal and pressed her wet nose against her palms.
She likes you, and she doesn't like many people.
Look how pretty you are.
She's my best friend, one of the few I can actually trust. When you're the heir to the throne, everyone wants something from you, but her love is unconditional. You must have heard already that my father plans to pass his power to me.
Yes, Uncle Murad's departure will upset many people. He's a wise and honest ruler. But I'm sure you'll become a worthy successor.
Father's insisting on me marrying and...
Hassan stopped abruptly and turned to her.
Lael, I'm sure I could never find a wife better than you.
Hassan took Lala's hand and pressed it against his chest. An unfamiliar fire was burning in his eyes.
You don't know it, but you've become the reason that I rush to school. Oftentimes, I don't even hear what Hoja Mustafa is speaking about because I'm too busy admiring you.
At once, Lala felt both a rush of warmth and a wave of embarrassment. It was the first time she had been this close to a man, and it was also the first time she had heard words like these.
I know it's unexpected, and I wouldn't dare demand an answer right away. But, may I kiss you now?
Blushing and unsure where to hide her eyes, Lael whispered softly,
That's unnecessary. Shahzad, with all due respect, it would be a reckless step for a young lady. That would make me unworthy of your highness.
I understand. Yes, forgive my hastiness. But please, think about what I said earlier.
The riding class had been going on for an hour already, and it was almost noon. There wasn't a single tree on the huge track, and the students and horses alike were exhausted from the heat. Only the teacher, Mustafa, seemed to be in good spirits as he sat beneath a big pashmina, held aloft by 2 servants.
What's with the long faces? Your pupils at the Royal School of Grand Sultan Murad II, the pride and future of the sublime Ottoman state. All right, take 10 minutes, then get back in your saddles.
Lael hopped down and took to fixing her steed's bridle. Aslan stood nearby, but he turned away and pretended to be busy when he noticed Lael.
Aslan, I'm sorry about what happened at the stables. I really was waiting for you. But I couldn't say no to a Shehzad. You know the etiquette.
Aslan turned to Lael and looked her in the eye.
I could never be offended by you, and you know it. But tell me, Lael, if you hadn't felt the need to wait for me, as my friend, if there was no etiquette or stupid rules, and if it were just me, Hassan, and you, owing nothing to anyone, who would you have ridden with?
It was the first time Aslan had spoken to her with such seriousness during all their years of friendship. Layla realized that she couldn't lie or dodge his question.
I'd have ridden with Hassan. You're my best friend, it's true, and you always will be, but... Today, I realized there could be something other than friendship between people. It's a strange feeling when a single person becomes more important than everyone else. But Aslan, you and I are still.
Aslan put his finger to her lips.
Hush, I get it. Let me see what's going on with your mare's bridle while you take a break.
Lael noticed Hassan standing a few paces away and happily ran to him.
Shehzad?
It's been an hour since we spoke and I missed you.
Where's your wonderful hound?
Could you be missing her more than me?
About the same.
But you're right. She must have run off. I need to find her before the lesson starts again.
Your choice influenced the story in a major way.
For a second, Hassan's tender gray eyes lingered on Layla. Then he smiled to himself and walked away. The world grew dark, and the scent of rain saturated the air. Menacing clouds filled the sky. A jagged line of light suddenly split the horizon.
Thunderstorm. Everyone, take your horses into the forest.
Booming thunder drowned out the teacher's voice.
Lael, let's go! An open field is the most dangerous place during a thunderstorm.
Coming!
It was already as dark as night. Rain poured down in a wall of water. In a matter of minutes, the ground became a slippery mess. Hooves and feet struggled through the squelching mud. Lael slipped, unfortunately, another second, and she would be right beneath the hooves. Lael was suddenly pulled up by the reins she held. Geese lifted her head, helping her master stay upright.
Thank you, sweetheart. You saved me.
It was less than 1,000 feet to the forest, but the distance seemed to stretch on forever. Finally, they neared the shelter of the forest's edge. Beneath the thick canopy of trees, the rain wasn't that strong, and the students dismounted. A sudden thought pierced Lael's mind, and she shivered with fear.
Hassan, where's Hassan?
Has someone seen the Shehzad?
Streaks of lightning shattered the heavens. Lael's heart skipped a beat. Everyone was looking around at each other in the gloom, asking the same question. But soon it was clear. Hassan wasn't with them. Unfortunately, Lale's hunch was well-founded.
He went to look for his hound. He couldn't leave her alone in the thunderstorm. I'm going to get him.
Aslan grabbed Lale's arm, holding her back.
You can't help him now. No one can.
I'll try, at least.
I'm coming with you.
Hoja Mustafa looked very worried. He hurriedly spoke to the Bustanjis who accompanied the class.
Bostanji, a palace guard.
The guards will go with you.
They rushed back into the downpour, unable to even see an arm's length ahead of them. Lale knew Aslan was right, but she kept going, unable to remain there. Aslan walked next to her, supporting her with his steady arm while the Bostanjis plodded on behind. The thunderstorm receded as quickly as it had started. Lale heard loud barking, and the hound emerged from the fog.
Darling, show us where your master is.
The dog anxiously circled their legs, howling mournfully and nudging Lele on into the fog. A moment later, Lele and the rest of the search party saw it. Hassan was lying on the ground, lifeless. Aslan and the Bostanjis rushed to Hassan. They knelt over him, exchanging terrified whispers. Lyle stood petrified, unable to move or make a sound. Soon, Aslan approached her slowly, took her by the shoulders, and said quietly,
Hassan died. He was struck by lightning.
The hound whimpered and howled desperately, scurrying around her master's body. The pitiful sound echoed painfully through Lael's head. She felt her legs give in. Everything around her shifted and slowly disappeared. As she lost consciousness, she heard voices, but she couldn't make out all of their words.
Third son of the Sultan to perish, cursed, ill-fated. The empire is without an heir, without an heir, without.
Everything was moving around me. As I struggled to open my eyes, I realized the curator was shaking my shoulders.
Our time, Romania, Brasov.
Dear, I don't mind you falling asleep here, but it's already evening.
Evening? There's no way I've slept for that long.
Well, it's all because of the air here. It's mountain air.
I remembered Millie and Leo. They must be looking for me. Excuse me, I need to make a call.
Of course.
I dialed Millie's number 5. 10 rings. No answer. I scowled in frustration upon realizing I hadn't gotten Leo's number. My head felt heavy, and my thoughts raced faster and faster. My God, what was that? It wasn't a dream, it was real. Did I see the past? Why was I there? Not me, Leo. But it was still me. Leo must be like my past life. But I don't believe in past lives. And Aslan is Leo, apparently? How did he end up there? The curator watched me with a knowing, keen look, as if he wanted to say something. Tell me, these paintings? How did you get them?
Oh, a generous young man gave them to the museum from his private collection. You know, it's surprising. The museum's been here for years, but the government recently decided to confiscate the building. Sure, they gave us the right to buy it back, but the museum doesn't have the funds. That's when that wonderful young man emerged like some kind of angel. He said he couldn't help by sponsoring us directly, but we could have the paintings, sell them, and keep the proceeds. Yes, they're covered in paint, but someone would still be interested. Portraying people during that time at the Ottoman Sultan's court, meanteth. Whoever created these, they were walking a knife's edge. The artist seems to be the only one who took such a risk over a period of centuries.
Why did you decide to look for a buyer in the United States across the world?
The benefactor advised us to. He mentioned galleries that would pay the full price. And sure enough, neither Bloom nor Vincent tried to negotiate it down.
And the miraculous benefactor's name remains a mystery?
Of course.
You've learned some important information.
The agreement was sealed almost immediately. Vincent had already transferred the full sum to the museum's account. I was about to leave when the old man called out to me.
Liar, I'm sure you've heard the sayings, art works miracles, or art is a time machine. You know, sometimes old cliches are more literal than we realize.
Where are you going with that?
Just thinking out loud. Good luck, Liar Burnell.
Finding a taxi for a ride home was easy this time. The road was long and uneventful, and I found myself at the hotel again. My phone battery died while I was in the taxi, so I still didn't know how Leo and my sister were doing, and that worried me. I just hoped they didn't send the police looking for me. A car pulled up to the hotel, and two familiar silhouettes emerged from it. Leo. Millie, I'm here, I'm fine. Are you just getting... My God, what happened, sis? Millie was a mess. She'd been crying. Her face and body were covered in bruises and scratches. There was dried blood on her clothes. What the hell happened? Leo, say something.
A vampire tried to kill me in the forest.